Good morning. It's time for Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Dick. And, well, here it is. We're into February, and I just wanted to note this. You know it's an unusual winter. I seen some guys disc golfing yesterday.
Yeah.
You did not see that in February.
I've seen a lot of things this February. I haven't seen it in a long time,
Yeah.
Larry. So
Interesting. Busy weekend in sports coming up this weekend. High school sports. We got wrestling. We got boys and girls basketball. But we'll hit wrestling first because the 81st annual WIAA individual wrestling tournament and third girls individual wrestling tournament gets underway today down at the Kohl Center in Madison. And we'll talk more about the three NGL wrestlers here coming up. But a lot of area wrestlers are going to be heading down to Madison.
we'll talk about NGL in a little bit, but we'll start off with the rest of the area guys from D2, Larry. From Abby Colby, senior Tanner Halupka. He is wrestling at 157 pounds. He'll be wrestling Thursday night against Ethan Brissett from Peshtigo. The Stanley Boyd guys, Brecken Brzezinski, second at 138 at the sectionals. He wrestles Mason Baumgartner from Prairie du Chien Thursday night. Sophomore Willie Graham, he was second at 285 at the sectional. He faces Owen Schultz of Wittenberg-Burnham Hood Thursday night. So good luck to the area guys from D2.
You bet.
We'll talk, and like I said, we'll talk about NGL in a minute, but we'll move over to D1. Marshfield with several qualifiers. Freshman Carter Williquit, 106 pounds, second at the sectional. He faces William DeKemen from Wilmot Union Thursday night. Junior Graydon Rohde, first at 157. He faces Bennett Weidman of Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln Thursday night. Caleb Denny, junior, first at 165, and now with a kind of a sweet record of 50-0.
Yeah, he's one of the 24 unbeaten wrestlers down there.
Yeah, and he placed last year, so I think he's gunning for the top spot this year. But he starts off with Kenny Vaughn from Kenosha Indian Trail. Junior Owen Griesbach, first at 175. He faces Riker Morgan from Muskego. And then senior James Clement, second at the sectional at 215 pounds. He faces Lincoln McCarty of River Falls. Regis Altoona has a couple of guys down there. Larry Chase Koska was at 138, was first at sectionals. He faces Mike Galloway from Milwaukee King. And then senior Braden Elby, second at 190. He faces Zach Current from Muskego. So Wisconsin Rapids has 8 guys down there, Larry. I'm not going to go through all of them. Wausau West 1 and DC Everest 5 and Point 1. So pretty impressive D1 represention from our area. So,
yeah, Rapids. Wow, 8 guys.
8 guys. State. Yeah, they came out of that sectional. I'm not sure. I believe maybe it was at Holman, or I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, they ran ragged through the team sectional, just getting everybody in their way. And now they've got 8 guys going down there, and it's a bunch that have been together a long time, and they are really going. And this might be the best Rapids team in a long time. Since some of them championship years.
Yeah.
So,
well, good for them. You bet.
Let's move over to D3, Larry.
Yeah.
Stratford with huge representation also. Senior Roman Schmidt, third at sectionals at 106, wrestles Lincoln Bayer from Westfield Thursday. Sophomore Colin Canoyer, second at sectionals at 113. He wrestles Sam Peterson of Lena Thursday. Junior Trenton Canoyer, first at 120, and he faces Lakota Brewer of Riverdale Thursday night. Freshman Aaron Knetter, third at sectionals, 126. He faces Danny Finley of Parkview, Albany Thursday. Sophomore Matthias Kaiser, third at sectionals at 132. He wrestles Tucker Cobb of Marshall, Thursday. Senior Caleb Crummel, third at 150 pounds. He faces Merrick Lasecki of Elmira Thursday. Junior Carter Leak, first at sectional at 175, and now with a record of 49-1. He faces the winner of Brock Nason of Shell Lake and Isaiah Nowak of Coleman Friday. And then senior Noah Lucio, second at 190. He faces Noah Hannafield of Markesan Thursday. Auburndale has junior Derek Goddard going, third at 106. And I just want to talk about this 106 bracket in D3, Larry. Goddard was third at the sectional at 106. He's the third seed at the state tournament.
Wow.
Number 3. All the top 3 seeds come out of the same sectional. Braden Johnson from Cumberland, who's 50-1, and then Underwood from Marathon is 51-1.
Oh.
Their losses are to each other.
Oh, jeez.
Underwood beat Johnson at Northern Badger, and this last weekend Johnson beat Underwood at the sectional. So, and now if they both make the championship match, there'll be another one. But Mr. Goddard from Auburndale is a two-time state. This will be his third time at state. So, and he was a placer last year. So, sophomore going on with Auburndale. Sophomore Zaid Grassel, second at 126 pounds. He faces Cade Sowles of Omro Thursday. Junior Colton Weiler, first at 144 pounds sectional. He is the number 1 seed at the state tournament, and he faces the winner of Caden Paulson of Shell Lake and Brianna Gleski, and I forgot to write down his school. So anyway, sophomore Wyatt Molson, third at 157. He faces Nolan Wadera of Ithaca Weston on Friday. So pretty good representation from D3, and you also got 5 guys going from Marathon and 3 from Edgar also, Larry. So
and I see Axel Teagle. Teagle's from Cadet at 215.
Yep, I've got that here too. Okay, here we go. I do have the Marathon guys. Okay, sophomore Blake Underwood, we just talked about him. He faces the winner of Roman Schmidt of Stratford and Lincoln Bayer of Westfield. Sophomore Cale Quintance, second at 120. He faces Mason Doing of Crandon Thursday. Sophomore Swain Stencil, second at 132, wrestles Brady Shepard of Wabino Leona 3 Lakes Thursday. And senior Dylan Dodson, third at 138. He faces Wyatt Hiregrove of Aquinas. Then Cadott brings 3 into the picture. Junior Caleb Lodahl, first at sectionals 113. He faces Elliot Kite of Mineral Point Thursday. Senior Caden Kinston, third at sectionals at 175. Faces Riley Wanick of Riverdale Thursday. And then senior Axel Teagle, and we've talked about this, Larry, the end of the Teagle brothers here.
Yep.
But he's was first at 215. He faces the winner of Alexander Larson of Princeton Greens Lake and Zach Hellendring of Boyceville on Friday. So Edgar has 3 gentlemen. Lucas Stanky, third at 190, faces Wyatt Annan of Fenimore Thursday. Senior Harrison Gravine, third at 285. He faces Michael Bowden of Kewanee Thursday. And then Gilman Cornell, who also has a gentleman down there. Senior Troy Dolman, second at 157. He faces Mitchell Van Gortheren of Kewanee on Friday. So
there you go.
Wow.
A lot of guys down there. I got almost my whole page here with all the qualifiers.
And then you also have a few girls, too.
Yes, yes.
We have Ava Gardner from Marshfield. She was first at sectionals at 100 pounds. She is the number 2 seed, and she faces Mackenzie Simonson from McDonald Elk Mound on Thursday. And then the Cadott bunch, Izzy Sonnentag, first at 100. She's the number 3 seed, which means her and Ava could be meeting in the semifinals on Friday. So freshman Tessa York, first at sectionals 114. She faces Sonia Wagner of Princeton Green Lake Thursday. And then senior McKenna Hannell, first at 120, faces Delia Collins of Mineral Point Thursday. And then Stanley Boyd also has freshman Anna Krzan, first at 107. She faces Megan Scheineman of Plymouth Thursday. So there. we got
one more.
Okay.
Girl, Erica Sleznikow of Marshfield.
Okay, I missed her.
Is wrestling at 126.
Okay. Yeah, they didn't have her on their list. I didn't see that.
And the girls all wrestle, I think, this afternoon, 3 o'clock.
They go, all the D1s and the girls all go on the first round, on the first shift today, and they will go through 2 rounds.
Okay.
They will go through the first and second round. They will wrestle all the way to their semifinal.
Okay.
And then at 7 o'clock or roughly tomorrow night, then the third and second place guys pretty much start wrestling from Division 2 and 3.
Okay.
And they will wrestle to the quarterfinals.
Okay.
So, and then Friday morning, it'll be the quarterfinals for 2 and 3. And then right after that, they have a little consolation round. And then tomorrow night, the big all 4 divisions, semifinals, and then consolation on Saturday. And then 6 o'clock Saturday night will be the finals.
Okay.
So
all right.
And that is on the local TV stations now,
yes,
too.
On the statewide stations. There are some guys that are going for 4 state titles.
Yeah, we have 3 gentlemen going for 4 in a row, and we'll start in Division 1. Mr. Connor Mirasola, I believe it is.
Connor Mirasola.
Yeah, he has a twin brother, Cole, wrestling at heavyweight. Cole's only going for his third, though. So.
Oh, okay.
But they are going as a package to Penn State next year.
Oh, really?
The Mirasola twins.
Wow.
So.
Okay.
Then in D2, we have a guy that I'm very familiar with, Cole Hopke from Amory. He's just been a devastating wrestler for 4 years. He has 2 losses on his career, both this year. Both were to out-of-state wrestlers. So I look for him. I don't want to say walk through the heavyweight bracket, but I don't think he has any peers in Division II in the state of Wisconsin. So
Yeah, he won the 220-pound title the last 3 years, and
Right.
now he moves up to heavyweight
yes,
this year.
he did. Yeah, and he will wrestle heavyweight in college.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's kind of, and plus he's a big dude. He's about 6'1", 6'2", and keeping down around 220 sometimes isn't easy either.
Oh, right, sure, yeah.
And especially when you're lifting all the time and stuff. And then, but right now he's weighing in about 230, 235, and that'll be really good for college wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
And he will be going to the University of Minnesota next year. So,
Okay. All right. We got one more. That's
that is in Division III, and that'll be Dawson Johnson from Cumberland. And we talked about Braden Johnson before. This is Braden's older brother.
Okay.
And Dawson is a 3-time state champion, very solid wrestler, also going to the University of Minnesota next year. So
okay.
So
All right. And as we mentioned, there are 24 unbeaten wrestlers, and Caleb Denis of Marshfield is one of those.
You bet.
50-0. That's impressive.
That is impressive. Yeah,
That is impressive.
Yeah, he is impressive to watch. I've seen him
Oh,
wrestle
yeah?
over the years. Even back in the middle school days, he was fun to watch.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Getting to now NGL. They have 3 wrestlers heading to state, and normally we bring the guys in the studio with us, but we thought let's go up to the practice field there in the Jack Hammond balcony and talk to those 3 guys.
Yeah, I think it was nice. And then what struck me about when we interviewed these guys, they seem very relaxed.
Yeah.
Nobody really, are you going to the Kohl's, as Ridge Tibbett and Dean looked on going to the Kohl's Center for the first time? No.
Well, Ridge did say he's a little nervous.
But Ridge they both wrestled at the Alliance Center.
Sure.
Which is not quite the Kohl's Center, but they've both been, in those big crowds before, all 3. And, of course, Hudson was there last year. But that's what kind of struck me, is seemed calm, and they all know what they've got to do. And like Dane being a senior, he was a 4-time sectional qualifier, and now finally getting to go. Just so happy for him. And, of course, Ridge, first-timer, too. And, and then I was really struck by talking to Coach Bryant, too. He was very open about this year's team, and too. So
all right, so here's how the conversation went. First of all, with the 3 gentlemen that'll be representing NGL down at state. We're joined by the 3 Neilsville Greenwood loyal wrestlers that'll be heading to Madison on probably Wednesday night, early Thursday, as they get ready for the state individual wrestling tournament. Joined by Dick Olson and the 3 wrestlers, and Dick, here they are.
Yep, here we go. First of all, we're going to talk off a repeater from last year, Hudson Sebesto Opelt. And Hudson, second time down there, same nerves or anything else? Or
Coming in a little bit less nervous than last time. Pretty excited. Hopefully can get on the podium this time and do something good.
Now, you got to buy the first round. You know much about the 2 kids that are wrestling Thursday night to get to you?
Yeah. I wrestled one of them in the sectional finals and beat him 6-0, so a little bit more confident about it.
Okay. Next, we got Dane Luchterhahn, and Dane, a senior, and first time down. How's that feel?
It feels exciting to finally make it down there.
Yeah, you were how many times qualified for sectionals? How many times?
4 times qualified for sectionals. Finally feels good to finally make it down there.
Okay. Now, you'll be wrestling on Thursday night. You know much about your opponent?
He's second time making it to state, and he's only a junior, so hopefully we can show him some seniority.
Okay. All right. Next, we got Ridge Tibbett. Ridge, a sophomore. Ridge, second at the sectional at Tomahawk. How'd that feel, Ridge?
It felt really good. I mean, the year started off a lot slower, but it picked up at the end.
Okay. Now, you wrestled down at Madison many times in the youth. How do you think wrestling in the Kohl Center is going to be?
Boy, I don't know. I'm nervous.
Okay.
I'm definitely nervous. But I'm still, it's exciting.
Okay. You know much about your opponent Thursday night?
Not really. He was in one of my brackets. He won my bracket when we were in the Dells, but that's about it.
Okay. All right. All right, back to Hudson. Hudson, you had a great experience in Madison last year. You don't need a repeat of that, do you?
Yeah, hopefully I don't end up in the hospital again. I mean, I've been having some issues this week, just some knee problems, but not a fan of excuses, so
Okay. Yeah,
we'll get over it.
Yeah, Hudson was injured in the off season and finally made it back to wrestle at Northern Badger. And how has the leg been all season for you?
You know, I struggle with it a little bit, just having some issues now and then, but I think I'm ready to go. So.
Okay. All right, Dane. You're the lone representative from Loyal here. Are you carrying the weight of Loyal on your shoulders?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a wrestler for 3-4 years from Loyal to make it down the state since Stephen Buchanan.
Yep, okay.
So everyone from Loyal is excited to see someone back down there.
Something to be very proud of. And I should say Dane's parents are Joe and Jen Luchterhan, and he's got a younger brother, Jake, who I think in the future will be down in Madison. So.
Yeah, he missed it by one match this year.
Yeah, and Jake finished fourth, or else we'd had a brother act down there, Larry. So anything else you got to say, Dane?
No, I'd go down there, give it 110%, and see what I can get.
Okay. Ridge, anything to add? Or?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean,
So the whole family going to come down to watch you?
yep, they are.
Okay. All right. Hudson, any last words for these guys? You're being the veteran. You going to give them any ideas down there?
Don't get in trouble at the hotel.
Yeah, you were with some good ones last year, weren't you? So okay, guys, thanks, and good luck in Madison. We'll be following you. So.
All right, those are the three wrestlers. We've got Hudson Sebesta Opelt, Ridge Tibbett, and Dane Luchterhan.
Yeah, Hudson is seated third at 150.
Okay.
And he gets a bye, and he will face the winner of Nolan Tomley from Prescott and O'Dare Paris of Whitewater. Nolan Tomley from Prescott was his opponent in the sectional finals.
That's what he mentioned,
year.
yeah.
So, Ridge Tibbett, second at 113. He faces Nick Ursuline of Wisconsin Dells Thursday night. They were both at the Wisconsin Dells tournament, but they didn't happen to wrestle each other that day. So, and then Dane Luchterhan, third at 190. He has Ross Christ of Darlington Blackhawk Thursday night. So, best of luck to these three guys, and really all three families too. You know, over the years, the Tibbetts and the Luchterhans and the Sebesta Opelts, just really big part of wrestling and all the way up through the youth and everything. So, enjoy.
Yeah.
So
Again, Luchterhan and Tibbett will wrestle tonight, and then Hudson Sebesta Opelt tomorrow morning.
And you can follow those matches on Track Wrestling, and I believe there's a subscription service if you want to watch them live. Too. So, but
probably through WIAA TV.
WIAA TV. So, but if you want to see the matches shortly after, you can go through Track Wrestling and watch them there, not live, but they will be archived after that too.
Okay.
So.
All right. And we also talked with head coach Scott Bryant on Tuesday after practice. All right, Coach, talk to you a little bit about these three guys going down there. You got to be pretty proud of those three.
Yeah, it was a nice accomplishment to have three wrestlers go down there. I wasn't quite sure at the beginning of the year what our expectations were exactly going to be. We kind of got thumped our first match against Medford, and then we rattled off 11 straight dual meets in a row that we won, and then lost in the sectional team tournament. So it was a nice season, ending up with the conference tournament and the dual meet champions. But these guys wrestled well all year. Hudson's on his second year down at the state tournament. Last year he qualified, but he did not place. He's a junior. Hopefully his expectations and goals are to place hopefully up in the top three. I'm looking forward to seeing. He's seated third right now. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Dane is a senior. He was bumping back and forth between 175 and 190 throughout the year. Decided to wrestle at the 190 pound weight class during the regionals. I think it was a good decision. Had a strong showing at regionals and sectionals, and qualified. He's seated number 10 down at the state tournament. He'll take on the number 7 kid. So, hopefully his expectations too are to get through that first day and make it into the final eight-man part of the bracket. And then Ridge, who came, I think he surprised himself on at the 113-pound spot. He wrestled very well these last few weeks and it's been looking really tough. And he's got a few more losses than the other boys, but looking back on his season, on his losses, when I was looking back, the majority of the losses are actually from state qualifying kids that are down at the state tournament also. So it's quality kids that he's been wrestling. So he's been looking good and looking tough, and I'm hoping that he squeaks it out on the first day on Thursday and gets into that Friday, Saturday range also. So it's going to be exciting. It's good wrestling once you get down there. You get down that far, anybody can beat anybody on any given day.
One of the things that Ridge said, he was nervous. You as a coach, what do you do to alleviate the fact that he's nervous going down the first time?
I don't know if there's anything you can truly do. You talk him into it, and you talk with them and stuff, and they get in. You take them down to the floor right away. They see it. It's a big building. A lot of them never been in buildings like that, or definitely have not wrestled in that kind of a place, that kind of a scenario. It'll be a good experience for Ridge. He's a sophomore, and hopefully he'll carry it on over and use it as a good experience in the future. It's fun, but they'll all be nervous. I'll be nervous. So.
The season in general, Scott, how did you think this team would achieve as much as it did? I mean, you came in here with basically 2 or 3 starters, and you won the conference duel, you won the conference tournament, second at regionals. I mean, these kids, I don't want to call them overachievers, but I think they really surprised what I thought it was going to be. So how about you?
First starting out, I didn't really know what to expect from the kids. We were very inexperienced. Like you said, we got a lot of freshmen on the team. Well, even Ridge, he wasn't out his freshman year, so he's basically a first-year guy as a sophomore. So we had a lot of kids that with very little experience. I was even taking some of our varsity kids to JV tournaments instead just to try to get them experience. But I'm telling you what, they would come to practice every single day. They showed up every day. They went to the meets. They didn't complain. They were there the whole time. We moved them to different weight classes when we had to move them to different weight classes. And, I don't think anybody expected them really to achieve as far as what they did. But, I mean, it was good for the kids. They were excited about it. And I hope that carries over into their next year because the majority of them are coming back.
Right. Yeah, it just seemed like the whole year they had a why not us kind of attitude.
Yeah, and I mean, we weren't wiping people out by no means. I mean, we're winning by 3 points, 4 points, by one match and so on. And it was always a different kid that seemed to step up at the time that got the win when we didn't really expect them to get the win, or they avoided getting pinned that time to save points that way. Stepped up a weight class in order to wrestle a different weight class to try to either gain points or save points. So it was a team win as far as the conference and the regional goes, allowing us to go to the team sectionals and everything else.
They've set the bar a little higher for next year, haven't they?
I think the expectations would be a little higher for next year. Absolutely. And we kind of know what we got. They made tons of improvement. And they stick, if you watch our kids wrestle, they stick with each other. They're on the edges of the mats, helping each other, cheering each other on.
That's the biggest thing I noticed, too. So
it's been a good year.
What's the schedule like going down there now to Madison?
Well, Thursday, it'll be what they call the D2, D3 prelims. And it's the kids that play second and third at the sectional. They're wrestling basically to get into the final 8 for the next day. There's 12 kids in the tournament for each weight class, and number 2s or the kids that took second and third wrestle on Thursday night, and the winners will get put into the 8-man part of it for the Friday, starting then and Saturday. So you got to win to stay in on Thursday night.
Any advantage to, I know you're a higher seed when you wrestle on Friday, but any advantage or disadvantage to that wrestling on Friday as opposed to Thursday and Friday?
I guess
the old bye week,
Right. The only advantage I really believe as not wrestling until Friday is because you don't wrestle on Friday, it's kind of like you almost get a bye because once you're in that far, then you're guaranteed the 2 matches to come back the other way, where the kids that are wrestling on Thursday aren't guaranteed that consolation match to stay in the tournament.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, good luck, Scott. You bet. Give them hell down there. So.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. That's head coach Scott Bryant of the NGL Wrestlers, and I think he's pretty excited.
He's pretty excited,
especially these three guys.
Yeah, I said that. The last few years, and you go back to when Dukes and Hoffman were freshmen. I think he had the same feeling then. He had some, and then of course and then Derek Schernitz was a repeat, and and now a team where he didn't expect a lot, and he still got three guys going, and I think it just shows you the value of hard work, and I being around, seeing some of these kids, and it just seems like they have a why not us.
Yeah.
After they won the dual meet, why can't we win the conference championship?
Sure.
Why can't we finish second at sectionals and go to teams? I said it's a great thing to go, and it starts there. And he's also got a couple of assistants in Kenny Fremont and Carl Opelt who really work well with young kids also.
Yeah. And like he said, a lot of these guys coming back.
Yeah, I said Dane Luchterhan is a senior. Gavin McFarland, who's a sectional qualifier, he was a senior, and then Damian Sampson. They will be the three seniors lost, and they all made big contributions to the program. But you've got a lot of good stuff coming back, and some nice eighth graders coming in next year too.
So there you go.
Yep.
All right. So again, good luck to all the individuals at the state individual wrestling tournament for boys and girls down at the Kohl Center this weekend. All right, girls basketball, they had the conference crossovers on last Saturday, so the all-conference teams were named, and Neillsville getting three players at first team.
Yeah, well represented. Paris Opelt, senior, Sydney Supke, a junior, and Maddie Dable, a freshman, all on the first team, along with Danielle Mann of Gilman, Tyson Littner from Greenwood. Danielle is a senior, and then Tyson Littner, a junior, and Kendall Weiler from Owen Withy, a junior. And on the second team, you had Courtney Summers from Columbus Catholic, Avery Wietrich, the senior, and she really had a nice career there. And top it off with a nice second team all-conference. Autumn Zovalena, I'm going to say it right this time. She corrected me on that piece, so I got it from the horse's mouth. So she's a junior. Sheila Tellock from Loyal, a senior. Geneva Capitilla of Owen Withy, a junior. And then Raina Art from Owen Withy, a senior. And then our honorable mentions are Alexis Vanderhoff of Colby, Gracie Wilczek of Columbus, Tatum Travis, a sophomore from Greenwood, Addison Wolf, a sophomore from Loyal, Jess Kuhn, sophomore from Neillsville, and then Autumn Davis, a sophomore from Spencer. A lot of young kids on that honorable mention.
Yeah,
list
all
there.
underclassmen on that honorable mention.
Then congratulations to Paris Opelt. Back-to-back Eastern Conference Players of the Year. So,
You bet. All right. So again, you can check all the all-conference lists on our website, cwbradio.com, or you can go to cloverbeltconference.org as well and find it there. But they got their tournament underway.
Yeah. Eastern Cloverbelt had a pretty good first round there. On 5 of the 7 teams playing won. But everybody will be back. All the winners and everybody else is going to be in action Friday night. So we got
regional semifinals coming up on Friday. Neillsville will take on Luther on Friday. Luther beat Westby 58-29. Not a lot to know about Luther, except what's on paper.
Yeah, and we'll see. I couldn't find a live stream of it, so I didn't. But Warriors got to play their game. That's all there's to it, and they got it handed to them pretty good over in Osseo by McDonald the other night. And I guess you take that as a learning thing, Larry, and move on. So,
well, McDonald Central is a good team.
McDonald Central, to me, Larry, I believe they will walk through. I'm not going to say walk because Phillips has a very good ball club, and Fall Creek is also in that sectional also. But I do believe they will win that sectional and go to state in D4 from that sectional. So
yeah, I would have to agree.
They are
with you
so
on that.
senior oriented and just fun to watch, and those girls have played together so long, and Coach Cooper does a very good job up there also. So
they will have marathon coming up tomorrow night in a regional semifinal. Fall Creek will have Boyceville. And Whitehall is at Auburndale. The winner of that one and the winner of Luther and Neillsville play in the regional final on Saturday night. Greenwood, they won their first-round game, so they will host Columbus Catholic for a third time this season. Loyal at Athens. There's an interesting.
That's an interesting matchup. And, Loyal had it pretty easy with, I believe, Rosholt the other night. But Athens is a team that's a little dangerous. They have gotten better. Nielsville handled them pretty good the first game of the season, but they have got better. They're one team that's come close to Assumption this year. They lost to Assumption by 1 point. So I know they've got some pretty good athletes up there. So Loyal's going to have their hands full going up there against them. So.
And Owen Withy, they will host Prentice tomorrow night, and Gilman is at South Shore, that nice little short
3.5 hour trip.
Well, at least Gilman's about an hour closer than what we are, if we would have to go up there.
Yeah, but Edgar at Pittsville, too, at D5, and then Fall River makes a trip to Assumption. So,
where's Fall River?
Fall River is over in the area, be north of Madison towards the town Columbus. Up in up in that area.
Wow.
So
there's a trip.
Yeah. There's some dandies on here.
Yeah, I see that. There were some dandies in the first round.
Yeah, I know.
Where is Elko?
Elko is way up northeast, isn't it? By Antigo up in that country.
That's where Greenwood, they played their first round game, and I wasn't even sure where Elko was.
Yeah. It's somewhere up in the northeast. Somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how that. And how about Stanley Boyd? They played
Winneconne.
They played Viroqua.
Yeah, but Winneconne is coming to Stanley Boyd, and Winneconne is over in the Fox Valley. That's down off 40, south of Neenah, off of 41 down there. So.
Yeah, there's some interesting games. And then, like we said in that first round game, you had Colby and Abbotsford playing.
Yeah.
I don't get it how some of that works.
Yeah, it's and the computer doesn't always get it right.
No,
you can't put in there, hey, let's keep them short.
Well, Holman's at Marshfield.
Yep.
Tomorrow night in Division 1.
Yep.
That's not a short trip.
No.
For those guys, or those ladies, I should say. But we'll have that Luther-Neilsville game for you on 92.7 WPKG. 7 o'clock are the tournament games,
yes,
not 7:15.
15 minutes earlier than usual.
7 o'clock.
Yep.
Tonight, it's boys basketball as they have their crossover playoffs in the Cloverbell Conference, the 3rd through 8th place games. And, with all the shifting that happened on that last night with Owen Withy beating Colby, Colby ends up being in 4th.
4th place, yeah. And, of course, then you had Fall Creek getting over Stanley Boyd, too, which was pretty interesting. Fall Creek got off to a very slow start because Bo Volrath was hurt. Since Bo Volrath, they came all the way back into 2nd place, so which is a nice matchup for Neilsville. But Stanley Boyd and Owen Withy, that should be a nice matchup tonight, too, and along with McDonald at Colby. So
you bet.
And Regis was in 3rd most of the season. They dropped down to 5th just in the last week or two, too. So.
And they're at Loyal. Yes. Another good matchup, maybe.
You bet. Yeah. So and Osseo Fairchild at Spencer too, because Spencer's coming on too. So
and again, the 1st and 2nd place games will be on Saturday afternoon at Neilsville, and it starts at 1 with Fall Creek and Neilsville. And then the team we haven't seen yet this year, Bloomer, they'll take on Columbus Catholic in that championship at around 2:30.
This should be quite the matchup, I think. You got a Division 3 and a Division 5.
Right.
And I think probably Coach Konitsky probably loves having this matchup right before tournaments. I'm thinking so.
Yeah, because the game really doesn't mean anything as far as your standings because all the seedings are done.
Absolutely,
brackets are set.
So
just a good warm up for the tournament for the boys.
And the same thing with Fall Creek and Neilsville. Of course, that's a down the line. That's possibly you might see them in tournaments because you are coming in on that same sectional. So.
Yeah, and you talk about the boys tournament and teams that are traveling. Yeah. Columbus Catholic's first round opponent for the boys is Cooley Christian Providence Academy out of La Crosse.
Yeah. I had never heard of that school
before that. And I'm assuming that's not going to be a very close game.
Greenwood is traveling down to Royale.
Yeah.
Well, that should be good. Joe Anderson can go along. That's his alma mater.
Right.
So.
Sure, yeah. Melrose Monduro is at Neilsville in a first-round game next Tuesday.
Yeah, Melrose on paper are probably 9 or 10 and 13, I believe.
They got a tall kid, I heard, 6'6".
Yep. So
leading scorer for him. So,
and the winner of that game faces Luther, and a very good Luther ball club. So,
Luther gets a bye in the first round for the boys.
Crandon travels to Colby on Tuesday night in a 9-8 matchup. You talk about traveling. Abbotsford going to Washburn.
Where's that one?
That's up just south of Superior.
They don't get the Abbotsford Colby for the boys, huh?
Yeah, shame on you.
Yeah.
Fool me once, fool me down twice. And then Spencer traveling to Phillips in the other D4s. In the D5s, Bayfield traveling to Thorpe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bayfield's up on Lake Superior also. Mercer, that ain't no close one here.
No.
That's on the way to Hurley.
Yeah, that's at Owen. Owen Withy.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're glad to see that one at home.
Yeah, Gilman is traveling to Winter. That's not terrible. Athens at Prentice. And Loyal goes to Pittsville. Gilmanton Independence at Elmwood Center Lincoln. That's not nice travel there. So yeah.
One other note for the girls.
Yeah.
I saw that Reese Grimm is going to be participating in the three-point contest
Yes.
for the girls. She finished second in Division 5.
Yeah, good for her. Yeah, awesome. And then you look at the boys, and I believe the Columbus Catholic guys are either 3, 4, 5, or they're 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not see the boys.
Yeah, Konitsky is qualified, so he and Jacoby and Moore are
back to
3,
back to
4,
back.
and 5. And so
Again, the top 2 are the ones that make it, and they'll probably have that final one next week.
yeah, the
for
boys get this weekend yet.
Okay.
So the girls is set now. That is set for the Rest Center on Saturday morning of the tournament. Then,
Yep. So, but again, Reese Grimm of Pittsville will be participating
Awesome.
in that three-point contest. So a lot of stuff going on this weekend. We've got high school, the wrestling state tournament, the crossover playoffs for the boys and the girls, regional semifinals and finals.
Yeah, don't bother us on Sunday.
Sunday, I got to go do the polar plunge.
There you go. That's
Coach
right.
K and
You
me.
and Coach K.
But I understand it's going to be low 50s.
Yeah,
So
I think you lucked out on that one, buddy.
not bad on that at all. I'll take that. There is the well, let's go to where are they now before we get into
Speaking of Pittsville, I am
Okay.
going over to Pittsville and talk about Ty Copeland. And Ty was a 3-year letter winner on the Panther football team. His sophomore year, the Panthers were 4-6 on the season, qualifying for the WIAA Division 6 playoffs, where they lost in Level 1 to Pecatonica Argyle 48-6. Ty was a starter at quarterback that year, completed 52 passes out of 120 for 495 yards and 7 touchdowns. His junior year, the Panthers were 7-4 on the season, qualifying for Division 6 playoffs again. In Level 1, they defeated Necedah 26-21 before losing to Melrose Mindoro 19-13 in Level 2. Ty started quarterback and completed 57 out of 118 attempts for 530 yards and 8 touchdowns. On defense, he started at defensive back and had 1 pass interception on the year. He was named to the second-team All-Merwood team at quarterback. His junior year, the Panthers were 9-3, qualifying again for Division 6 playoffs, where in Level 1 they defeated Loyal 20-0 and McDonald Central 20-13 in Level 2 before losing to Stratford 32-7 in D3. Ty completed 65 passes out of 123 attempts for 620 yards and 11 touchdowns. On defense, he intercepted 2 passes. That year, he was named first-team quarterback on the Merwood All-Conference team. In the winter, Ty was a 3-year letter winner on the Pittsville basketball team. His sophomore year, the Panthers were 4-17, losing to Neelsville in the regional quarterfinals. Ty averaged 6 points per game. His junior year, Pittsville was 14-7, losing to Tri-County in the regional quarterfinals. Ty averaged 8 points per game. His senior year, Pittsville was 18-4, losing in the regional semifinals to Markesan. Ty averaged 12 points per game and was named to the second-team All-Merwood South team. In the spring, Ty was a 4-year letter winner on the Panther baseball team. His freshman year, Pittsville was 16-4 on the season, losing in the regional finals to Pacelli. Ty was a starting pitcher with a record of 11-2 on the season with 84 strikeouts and a 3.5 ERA, and was a first-team selection on the Merwood All-Conference team. His sophomore year, the Panthers were 18-3 on the season, regional champs, and losing in the sectional semifinals to Abbotsford 8-6. Ty was 13-1 on the season with a 2.85 ERA and 114 strikeouts. He was a first-team selection on the Merwood All-Conference team and an honorable mention All-State selection. His junior year, the Panthers were 20-2 on the season. They were Merwood and regional champs, losing in the sectional semis to Abbotsford 11-8. Ty was first-team All-Conference and Merwood Conference Player of the Year that year. His senior year, Pittsville was 21-2. They were Marywood South regional and sectional champions, qualifying for the WIAA Division III state tournament, where they lost in the state semifinals to Kenosha St. Joseph's 6-0. Ty was 15-2 on the season with 135 strikeouts and a 2.8 ERA. He was first team all-conference and Marywood Player of the Year. He was honorable mention first team all-state and was also selected to play in the Wisconsin baseball coaches all-star game that year. Ty graduated from Pittsville in 2006 and was recently elected to the Pittsville Athletic Hall of Fame, where he will be inducted this fall. After graduation, Ty accepted an athletic scholarship to play baseball at Winona State. His freshman year, the Warriors were 29-15 and qualified for the NCAA 2 national tournament, where they were eliminated in the first round. Ty pitched in 3 games that year with an 8.1 ERA and 4 strikeouts. His sophomore year, Winona State was 21-21. Ty pitched 27 2/3 innings with a 6.51 ERA and 20 strikeouts. His junior year, Winona State was 29-21. Ty pitched 34 innings with a 4.3 ERA and 32 strikeouts. His senior year, the Warriors were 36-16, qualifying for the NCAA Division II tournament, where they were eliminated in the first round. Ty pitched 38 innings with a 4.1 ERA and 29 strikeouts. Ty graduated from Winona State in 2011 with a bachelor's degree in finance. Today, Ty is a senior commodities manager for the Manitou America Group. Manitou is a company that manufactures agriculture and industrial compact equipment and parts, such as skid steers, track loaders, telescopic handlers, and cherry pickers. This particular Manitou plant is based in West Bend, Wisconsin. Ty himself resides in Exania, Wisconsin. Ty Copeland.
Yeah. Boy, it wasn't been for Abbotsford. They'd made it to state 3 years in a row.
Yeah. Pretty good Abbotsford bunch, yeah. I'll tell you, that was a pretty good heyday of Pittsville baseball. A good friend of mine, Bill Urban, head coach there, and he really had some good teams, and Ty was the center of a lot of them. So,
All right, Ty Copeland from Pittsville. Where are they now? All right, college football. Well, they figured out their 12-team how they're going to do that playoff.
5 and 7.
Yeah, they're going to have the top 4 teams in each conference. The highest conference champions will be seeded, and then the 5 through 12 will play each other in the first round on the home field of the higher-ranked team. And then the quarterfinals and semifinals will be the New Year's 6 bowl games.
All right. So I guess you got to say the SEC is going to SEC and Big Ten.
Big Ten, yeah.
You know, where the other two come from.
Right.
ACC isn't exactly a power conference anymore. Big 12, not really so much.
Pac-12 only has 2 teams.
Yeah. Is it going to come from the the Mountain West or someplace like that? Or and it also frees up a lot for Notre Dame as an independent too.
Yeah. Sure.
Notre Dame is going to be an at-large every year, probably.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting how that works out now that they went to 12 teams.
Yep.
See how many happy people there are.
Yeah, and now the snubbing will start at 13 instead of 5.
Yeah.
That's all there's to it.
There's a possibility. I read that the Badgers and Northwestern could play at Lambeau Field this year.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. It's interesting. So.
Yeah, because apparently Northwestern's field is being renovated. So
Ryan Field. They're
playing all their games away.
Okay, that's one of the oldest stadiums around.
Yeah.
In the Big Ten, probably the least attractive of any of them. Really.
Right.
You know, when you look at it, So.
Yeah, apparently they plan to play at Lambeau Field. They did not mention the opponent.
Okay.
But you think it would obviously be Wisconsin on October 19th.
Right. And I'll tell you what. The last time I believe it was. Was it 2016 when they played LSU there? 80,000 fans.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you, between the LSU purple and the Wisconsin red, it was just a sea there. And,
and
it was a great game too.
Sure.
So it's kind of neat to do that. Because other than Packer games, there just isn't a whole lot held at Lambeau Field. So,
no. Titletown District, maybe. Yeah. They got some stuff there.
And people have, the atrium has been big for weddings and business meetings and every day there's a ton of people going through tours.
Oh, yeah.
So,
you bet. Yeah. All right. What else we got going on here? sports world? A lot of high school sports.
A lot of high school.
I mean, the NBA is getting started up again
Yeah.
here tonight.
How about that All-Star game, Larry?
No.
Not a teaching moment if you're teaching kids how to play defense.
I don't even know why they play it.
I said, Larry, it's just got to a point where I think baseball does it right for some reason. Baseball turns out pretty good, but even that's had some shams lately.
Yeah.
But I almost, and they said, well, they should move the NBA to the end of the season. No, that doesn't work for the NFL. Why would it work here?
No.
After an 82-game season, how many playoffs? People are not going to go play in an All-Star game.
No.
So this used to be a pretty good mid-season classic, but it's went south. So.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the players that just are
the attitude. I don't know. It's
because I mean, back in the day, in the '80s and the '70s, it was always good games.
Good game. But 211 points. Come on,
that is absolutely no defense.
And
I mean, you have to be almost every time down the floor you score.
I mean, Carl Anthony Towns had 50 points, for goodness sake, for the West.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Well, how many guys had 30? Over 30?
Yeah, Damian Lillard had 39, and so he was the MVP.
And you see with some of those threes he was shooting,
they were on. He was starting on the backside of half court.
He shot one from half court.
Yeah, so.
And it wasn't at the buzzer.
No, it was just coming down. So I don't know. I said between this one and what the Pro Bowl and the NFL turned into, it just I don't have time for it.
I say just make All-Star, just make him an All-Star, and just leave it at that. Don't even worry about a game.
Yeah, you could make a lot of hay just by having the celebrity games, and then have the first and second place year guys. And then have an all-star game from the B League, the G League, or whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah.
But this, I don't. I just don't
I think
get
just
it.
name all-stars.
You can still have a nice weekend, but you don't have to have an all-star game. Yeah, name them. That's fine. And then they can all show up, sign autographs, be introduced, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, because I wouldn't go watch that.
No, that's why would you pay good money to do that?
No.
So,
and I think people are getting a little.
Even
the people that came to watch it were, I think, a little disgusted.
Yeah, I didn't even turn it on that night.
No, I kind of went there a little bit, and then I seen the score, and I'm like,
no. I just every year it's gotten worse.
Well, it was over. I think the East had over 100 at halftime.
Yeah, I said that's crazy. Bucks back in action Friday night. They're at Minnesota. That's on ESPN, and then Sunday noon at Philadelphia, and that's on ABC. So
okay. So it doesn't get any easier in the schedule. Jeez.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of quotes from Doc Rivers lately.
Yeah, there has been.
And I don't know if Doc Rivers is getting a little too deep or whatever, but that coaching change hasn't been looking very good.
No, it hasn't. No. Brewers get their exhibition season underway on Saturday.
Yeah, against San Diego. But how about signing Brendan Woodruff to a 2-year contract? I would have bet against that one, Larry.
Yeah, he won't play this year.
No, and I'm sure it's all incentive laced, I would think, but hopefully it goes through good and he can come back and be what he was. I don't think he can ever be as good as he was.
Right.
But if he comes back at 90% of what he was, that's a heck of a lot better than most pitchers out there in 2025. That would be.
Yeah.
I thought it would be some more team like the Orioles or the Yankees would come in with some higher money for him, but he chose to stay in Milwaukee. So
yeah, well, there's still a long list of free agents out there.
Oh,
and he was one of them that was on there yet.
Yeah, Bellinger still hasn't signed, has he?
Yeah, I don't know. What's
a few others, so I don't know.
We'll see what happens as the season gets underway. At least the exhibition season.
They also signed Jacob Ginnis, who was a 1-year deal worth $7 million, and there's a club option in 2025. But last year he had 4 starts and 36 relief appearances with the Giants. 3.87 ERA, 96 Ks, and 21 walks in 86 innings. So he might fit in as a spot starter and a long relief. So another arm.
Yeah.
And they've
Can't
got
have
a
too
lot.
many.
They've got a lot of them in the bullpen. They've got a lot of arms. So
you bet. You bet. All right. Anything else on the docket there?
I think I'm out of material there.
Okay. Well, a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff going on. We'll be busy this weekend.
Yep.
It starts tomorrow night with the girls basketball team playing Luther in a regional semifinal. And then we've got the first and second place games on 92.7 WPKG on Saturday afternoon starting at 1 for boys basketball. And then regional final, girls basketball, Saturday night.
Yep. Exciting.
Neilsville's going to be a busy place.
Yes, the field house. Yeah.
Feel that we got Neilsville Winter Carnival and
Oh, yeah. Goodness
all
gracious.
going on in
Yeah,
Neilsville.
oh, that's right. I forgot about
Yeah.
that, too.
It's going to be a busy town this weekend.
A lot of people coming in Saturday.
Yes,
I'll tell you
indeed.
that.
Yes.
Between those, because the crossover is a big deal.
Yeah.
I think it really is because all the teams are represented there. Because after the game, you have the all conference selections and the Player of the Year
Yeah.
in both divisions, and so fun time. And then of course that night a regional final game. So hopefully,
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, that'll do it for this week on Two Guys on Sports. Again, good luck to all the area wrestlers out there
You bet.
down in Madison. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson.
We'll talk to you again next week.